All right, we're gonna try this again because my freaking camera fell. And my phone fell off the little setup I got going. So I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so tapes back. I use push pins on the corners. I don't know if you can see that. Just to make sure that it's level. I even brought a level out to make sure that it's mostly level. You want that so it doesn't, if it's tilted one way, it will all pour off on one side and it could ruin your results. You also want to wet the back of your canvas first. And just a little bit of water. You should just kind of like rub it in. Give it a couple minutes and then you kind of want to hear that like reverberation like a drum. All right, mixing the paint. I've chosen these colors, so we're just gonna go with like a basic white, some pink, a nice bright blue, neon green, and then some black just for some contrast against the two ends. Got my cups here. I usually start with some Floetrol. So the Floetrol's here. Oh geez, this needs to be shaken up. Gross. Much better. Usually about like that much. You're gonna be stirring it up anyway. Is gonna be enough for a certain amount of color. So what I like to do is it's like 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. Oh no. And then mix it until it's like nice and smooth. You kind of scrape the sides to make sure you're getting all the paint. And then you want the consistency, the lady says, to be almost like a warm honey, which sounds so ridiculous, but like, you basically, when you pour it in, you don't want it to stack. You want it to not fall to the bottom either. It's kind of like a fine line between the two. I think this is pretty good. All right. I already got paint in my hands. We're doing great. All right. Next cup. Do some of the green. Probably way too much Floetrol there. All like a rough estimate. Like, I eyeball everything. I'm not measuring. But as long as you get it nice and smooth, there's not chunks of paint, there's not chunks of Floetrol, there's not, the color looks consistent. Usually you're pretty good. And then always just make sure to check. Like, this one's too thick. And definitely a little chunky. But so I'll add some water. Just gonna use this guy here. To kind of thin it out a little bit. You want the paint to be thin so it can flow. That's where you get the fluid from. This is probably going to be really boring for you to watch, and I'm sorry. So I might just cut this and then come back to you. But you get the gist. You probably can't see that. All right. Back in 2. All right, hopefully I'll be able to splice these two together so you're not getting 2 separate videos, but recap, canvas is ready. Sounds like a drum. Colors are all mixed. I'm gonna add some silicone now. So what I like to do is only put them in the colors. You can put them in all of them, but I like to just tend to put it in just the colors. So I have the pink here. I'm gonna literally put like a very little bit and then only stir it like 1, 2, 3 times. Do the same with the blue. Probably too much. 3. Keep your canvas away too, because if it gets on the canvas, it will repel all the paint and you'll have a blank spot. That's no fun. 1, 2, 3. Usually I like to let this paint sit out for an hour or so while the air bubbles can escape, but in the means of time, we're not going to do that. Empty cup. Canvas is ready. Get this to the side. And what I like to do is just kind of like layer them. So we'll do some white. My white's probably a little too thick, but that's okay. It will just sink to the bottom and that'll be fine. And we'll do some pink. I'll do one more white for shits and giggles. All right, our cup is set. Looks pretty crazy. Now what I'm gonna do is put my cup down, place canvas on top. Slippery. And give it a flip. And I like to let it sit here for a second. Let's get these out of the way. And the moment of truth. Yeah, obviously way too much paint. But whoa. It looks a lot like the ones I've done. But the greens are popping through. I'll let it kind of spread for a minute. And clearly I used way too much paint. Now this is the part you kind of want to spread it out. So you look for cool areas or places. Like this corner is kind of ugly, so I'm gonna just slide that off. Always bring it back to the center. There's a lot of really cool cells in this one. I don't want to lose all that blue. Wear gloves if you don't want to get your hands a complete mess. I went a little too fast, but actually looks pretty neat. Holy paint. I always like to kind of touch up the corners. Most of the time, the corners are the hardest part to get. And if you just take the wet paint and put it on the corner, it'll kind of pull it off. All right, let's let that sit for a bit. And now we wait. I think that looks pretty sweet so far. Very bright, vibrant. All right. Let's splice these together and send it to you, and then we'll do an after effect.